In 1953, legendary Warner Brothers animator Chuck Jones worked on Walt Disney's Sleeping Beauty for 4 months, at a time when Warner Brothers animation division shut down for like 4 months. Chuck Jones was never credited in the film. In Spanish, Sleeping Beauty is known as La Bella Durmiente, but in French it's La Belle au Bois Dormant, by Charles Perrault and the Brothers Grimm. Ami Koshimitsu is the Japanese voice for Tenma Skamato in School Rumble, Sailor Jupiter in Sailor Moon Crystal, Holo in Spice and Wolf, and Chi-Chi/Milk in Dragon Ball Evolution. No joke. In the Latin American dubbed version of the Dragon Ball franchise, Chi-Chi is renamed Milk, which is leche in Latino, or Milch in Deutsch. The American game show Jeopardy is currently hosted by Alex Trebek, and the current announcer is Johnny Gilbert. But the original host was Art Fleming, and the original announcer was Don Pardo from Saturday Night Live. Don't believe me? Just look it up on the internet. That's what I always do. Yep, Art Fleming was the original host and Don Pardo was the original announcer prior to 1984, when Alex Trebek got the hosting duties and Johnny Gilbert got the announcing duties. Clark Gable was the early favorite for the role of Rhett Butler in Gone with the Wind, but he was not the only actor considered. Errol Flynn, Gary Cooper, and Ronald Colman were also considered for the role of Rhett Butler in Gone with the Wind. Margaret Hamilton, who played the Wicked Witch of the West in The Wizard of Oz, was actually a kindergarten teacher before she became an actress. Buddy Ebsen was originally going to play the Tin Man before he developed a severe allergic reaction to the paint, and the 1939 classic The Wizard of Oz won 2 Academy Awards for Best Original Song and Best Original Score. And what a beautiful score indeed. And that song, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, is definitely an instant classic. I highly recommend you watch that movie, with the music and sound effects track and the commentary track. On its original release in Japan, Studio Ghibli's My Neighbor Totoro, or Tonori no Totoro, was double featured with Grave of the Fireflies, as the film was believed to be too big a financial risk as a standalone release. And yes, many people across America have debated whether the Disney dub or the streamlined dub is better. I'd say both dubs are good. You know, the Disney dub from 2006 and the Fox dub from 1993, which was 2 years after Lisa Michelson's death occurred in 1991. Laura Bailey is the English-speaking voice for Toru Honda in Fruits Basket, Shin Nohara from Shin-Chan, Kid Trunks in Dragon Ball Z, Chun-Li in Street Fighter, and Chi-Chi/Milk in the original Dragon Ball. To me, my favorite roles that she's done are Toru Honda from Fruits Basket and Shin Nohara from Shin-Chan. In 1956, Toei Company bought out Toei Animation, and that animation studio was pretty notable for Hakujaden, Shonen Sarutobi Sasuke, and Sayuki, and Andorusen Monogatari from 1968. And then in 1998, Toei Doga was renamed Toei Animation. And the company's mascot is Pero from the Toei adaptation of Puss in Boots. known in Mexico as Gato en Botas. Sergei Prokofiev began to compose before he could even write properly. Sergei Prokofiev first composed his first opera at the age of 9. I tell you, that is really impressive for a wonderful Russian composer like Sergei Prokofiev. Aside from the other Sergei Rachmaninoff, and my favorite Russian composer, Peter Ilyich Tchaikovsky. Sergei Prokofiev's best-known opera is Cinderella, known in Germany as Aschenbröt, but in Japan it's Shindororo. In Mexico it's La Cenicienta, and in France it's Cendrillon. Around the early 1960s or so, Paramount Pictures and Sega at one point were actually owned by Gulf and Western, before Viacom bought Paramount in 1994. And yes, Paramount has been owned by Viacom since then. But prior to 94, it was owned by Paramount Communications and Gulf and Western. Originally, Tony Randall was supposed to voice Templeton in the Hanna-Barbera adaptation of Charlotte's Web, but he quit during the production, so Paul Lynde was brought in to voice Templeton instead. And what a smart choice Tony Randall did, by not voicing Templeton and have Paul Lynde do the voice. Because I love Paul Lynde's unique voice.